Thank you for joining us at Salem's Ministry of the Occult. I am your host, Haley. This is your other host, Sarah. I did that right as you were taking it in, Hill, so that's on me. I'm sorry. So our last episode would have been... not the Ostara, because there's an episode.
Was it the traditional shamanic or whatever you want to
Yes. So our last episode would have been more types of witchcraft. Also, preemptively, I know in that episode we did talk about us taking a trip. Sadly, that trip has been canceled. There was some scheduling conflicts with a tour and times and people. So we've postponed. It will happen at some point, just probably not this year. But I have been thinking about planning a different trip, maybe something more local, like maybe going to see the Forks of Cypress or the Sweetwater Plantation House.
Sweetwater is closed, and people are no longer allowed to go there.
They've never been allowed to go there.
There's cameras.
There was cameras back when I was a kid, too. In full retrospect, because I am pretty sure that the time frame of when we could be persecuted for this is up. When I was a kid, my mom walked us through the woods to Sweetwater Plantation, and we're pretty sure they had sensors, like motion sensors and shit. Because we got there and somebody had kicked their shoes off and ran because we found their shoes, and we heard. So funny because it took us forever to get through the woods because my mom couldn't remember how she had done it when she was a kid. So we had to trek through these woods for an hour and a half until we found it, and then we got up there. And, there was an alarm going off. So then we all took off running back through the woods to get back to the car. And my mom was like, don't split up. And we were like, scatter! And she's like, God damn it. She had 2 9-year-olds running one way and a 15-year-old running the other way.
We know it.
Yeah.
Darn kids.
So yeah, at the very least, we may not get super close, but the road is right there by that hotel. So we could get close enough to at least take a picture of the place, and then we could do an episode on the stories of it or something, if that's what we choose to do.
Yeah. Sounds cool.
So yeah, I figured we could sit and talk about local places we can go instead, just so we can still give you guys a break from the mundane information
because we know we're probably overloading your brains a little bit.
Yeah, we do want this to be fun and not just educational.
Indeed.
Yeah. But with that, we're going to get into this newest episode because I forgot my laptop charger and my laptop's piece of shit, so who knows how long this will last. So my first witch type tonight is Hereditary. Now, the two that I have, I don't have a lot of information on them because they are more personal practices to each individual. So yeah, there are 2 ways that you can think about this. There are some witches that think being a hereditary witch doesn't mean that you were born a witch, it's in your blood. They believe it's more you were born into a family that practices the religion or the belief system, and then you grow up and decide this belief system matches with you. And there are other witches who believe you're born with it, i.e. psychic abilities. So, like anything else with witchcraft, to each their own, whatever you want to believe. But the first type that we'll go over are the ones that don't believe that you were born a witch. They believe that Wicca and paganism are religions, not a biological aspect to a witch.
Oh, but not me.
Yeah. You may meet someone or be someone who witchcraft comes very easy to. It may, it's so easy that when people see you practicing, they're clearly you were born a witch. More likely than not, with this specific type of hereditary witch, it's probably just that you grew up around it. It's something that was instilled in you from a very early age. You're very comfortable with it. You have the confidence and the knowledge of someone who it seems has lived 1,000 lifetimes, when in reality, you're just someone a lot of people aspire to be. We just got to them. Being a hereditary witch means that a lot of your practice is based on small familial traditions that have been passed down. You may have been raised by Wiccans or pagans, or you spent a lot of time around a family member who practiced and learned from them. So sometimes it skips generations. Sometimes your grandmother's one, but your mom's not, or vice versa. Doesn't really matter. But you may have seen someone practicing these beliefs, and you said, I like that. That clicks. And then you learned from them. You see more of folk magic with hereditary witches. A good representation would be beliefs that can be found in Appalachia. A lot of their traditions are hereditary, ancestral, folk magic. Now, the tricky part with this is that information on witches, like the practices and like rituals for these witches are really hard to find. And that's because these witches, they typically don't accept outsiders into their practices. It's usually family-based, and they're very secretive. They like to be kind of closed off and private with their beliefs. So it's what you make it. It's not going to be something that you're going to find on the internet or anything like that. Your family practices these kinds of things. This type of witch I got from learnreligions.com. Now, the other sect of hereditary witches that believe that it is biological, that you inherit your skills, they kind of fall in with, they believe you're a seer, you have clairvoyance, clairaudience, you're an empath, you're a psychic. That like ESP. Which we love. We forgot to light incense. So she did it like a crackhead.
I didn't do it like a crackhead.
But, yes, these witches, this part can also fall in with ancestral magic because they do believe that a lot of your psychic abilities are going to help you contact your ancestors. Like, they're going to, when you're ready, they will reach out to you and connect with you and guide you in your practice. This came from pathos.com, and some of the practices that can kind of be discerned are family grimoires, offerings to ancestors, folk magic, wart cunning, which I said I was going to look up and I didn't, so I'm sorry. The rule of 3, specific seasonal rituals. So you're probably going to tie in some of like the Sabbaths, but you're going to practice them and like observe them in your own particular family's manner. What is it?
From Old English, wart, U-Y-R-T, meaning plant, and cunning, meaning knowledge, is the traditional, often folkloric art of knowing and utilizing the healing and magical properties of plants. It refers to the deep expertise of cunning folk, or herbalist, combining practical herbal medicine, plant lore, and spiritual connection. That is directly from, Google.
So you're apothecaries. Can be apothecaries.
Yes, good.
Hereditary witchcraft has roots in Britain, Ireland, Greece, Appalachia, Slovenia, Nordic societies, Hoodoo, and Spanish societies as well. And that is what I have on Hereditary.
Beautiful. I have Wiccan. I don't know why I felt the need to do that, but you're welcome.
Alright, Hannibal Lecter.
Clarice.
I don't think he had a lisp.
I think he said it with a lisp. Oh, do what I want.
Clearly.
Sometimes I like to take artistic liberties. It's America. This is America.
That it is.
Okay, sorry. Okay, let me get a little comfy in my position here.
I said go ahead.
Gym positions. Okay, sorry. Okay, it's fine. Everything is fine. I have Wiccan witchcraft. Wiccan witchcraft.
Wiccan witches.
Wiccan. I don't know. Get myself later for that. A practitioner of Wiccan is a modern nature-based pagan religion that offers nature and some nature-based gods/goddesses. Very nature-based religion with an ethical code, harm none. Focuses on the 8 Sabbats. Deities are normally Mother Goddess and her consort, the Horned God. Mother Goddess also being called the Triple Goddess, Mother Maiden Crone. Spring, summer, winter. Rituals include stuff with crystals, candles, herbs. 8 also. I'm sorry, my notes look heinous because my handwriting is heinous. But yeah, the rituals can include crystals, herbs, and candles, and it can be a solitary practice or coven. It is very beginner friendly. Often referred to as the old religion. Belief in manifesting, healing, personal growth, and working with the forces of nature is very strong with this one. I hate you. I felt you looking at me like...
Did you know what you did there?
Yeah, I know what I did there. They also focus on moon phases, seasons, astrology, and... What? Okay, astrology can come into play. Some will mix their practice with other forms under the umbrella of witchcraft. It is a very, open tool, and a lot of the stuff that we know about it is kind of from a little bit of history itself, and is just kind of spoken word of mouth, because the origin of the religion is honestly not that, well known. Hence why it's called the old religion.
Yeah. That was probably in part, some was, back then they didn't really have the resources to kind of write down a lot of things, all the time.
And a lot of people were illiterate.
Yeah. The other part of it is most likely, because of how heavily witches were persecuted, even back then.
Facts.
So they couldn't write things down. They couldn't make notes and
Grimoires
and everything was word of mouth. It was all oral because that's the only way that you could really...
And women were persecuted for just practicing medicine because if they disagreed with a man, witch!
Yeah, because we're like the only species where women are submissive. Look at any other species. Guess who the submissive ones are? Men. Not men. Male. I'll say male because they're not men. They're like frogs and shit.
Oh my gosh.
The girls are bigger. They pick their mates like birds. Guess what? If you're not the prettiest bird, if you don't dance well, if you don't build them a good enough nest, they don't pick you. And the birds...
You hear that, men? You need to be pretty. Start wearing makeup. Again. Because makeup was originally created for men in court.
Look, you don't have to wear makeup. Just be...
Yes, you do.
Be Ben Barnes. Or Andy
Wear
Bursack,
makeup.
or Jensen Ackles. Any
Wear
one of
makeup.
them would get you through so many doors. Okay?
That's fair.
Yeah.
Wear makeup. I'll like it at least.
I do like guy liner. I'm not gonna lie. The amount...
Guy liner is really good. Especially on... What's his name?
What's he in?
He did a cover of...
Youngblood.
Yes. God, why can't I think of that?
Look, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I see him and I'm like, I get it. And then other times
dude,
I'm like,
I see so many videos of him
Yeah.
and I'm just like...
Alright, the next one I have is Ancestral. So this witch type focuses on connecting with your ancestors. Most witches will honor their ancestors around Sabbaths, typically ones like Samhain. And this is because
Or in their sleep, because apparently sometimes I would talk in my sleep and I would be talking to dead people.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, my mom literally was like, you terrified me so many nights. And I was like...
I think I would have you exorcised by a priest.
Right! Because
Especially if y'all were Catholic.
She said that so she knew that my Aunt Betty had passed before she got the call. Because in my sleep, I was talking to Aunt Betty. Yeah.
Yeah, sleepwalking, no sleepwalking. You would have gotten your own room a hell of a lot sooner if it was me. Like, you can talk to dead people on your own time. In that room.
Yeah, well, my mom was scared I was gonna walk out in the middle of the street.
Okay,
Because apparently
you can...
I knew how to open doors and climb counters.
Invest in locks.
We had locks. I learned how to unlock them in my sleep.
Okay. Padlock you into your room. Can't open that.
Well, she was worried about if there was a fire, no one could get to me.
She can get to you. She has the fucking key.
My mom
What is she gonna...
everything?
Run out of the house and be like, oh shit, I forgot my kid.
I don't know.
Okay, anyway.
If your kid's talking to dead people in their sleep, maybe, I don't know, call a rabbi.
It's not the talking to dead people in their sleep that gets me. It's the me hearing it.
You know, my mom probably should have just, I don't know, gotten something where she could, tie my foot to the end of my bed and then I would just have a leash or something.
You probably would have just broken your damn ankle.
Yeah, you're right. I was pretty persistent in my sleep for some reason. There was one time she went into the kitchen and I would climb the counters and she said it was freaky as hell because I look at her and I'm like...
Yeah, that combined with talking to dead people would have gotten you into exorcism. I'd be like, look, Father, I don't know what's wrong with this one. But I'm going to give it to the church. You give it back when it's cleansed.
You give it back when... Don't do that no more.
I don't know what that is. It's one night away from its head doing a 360. That is not my child. Don't know what that is. I did not lay with Satan. That is not the Antichrist.
Well, that's why I wasn't allowed to have my own room, though, because my mom, she got to where... If she felt me move in my sleep, she would wake up. And she would just make sure that I wasn't going to get out of the bed. And if I did try to get out of the bed, she would, get me back.
Would it help to knock out an unconscious person? You go to get up and might just have a frying pan and whack.
I don't think so.
You're not going to feel it until the morning.
I mean, yeah. But I also think she probably
Can you
would have
knock
had
out?
CPS called on her because I would have shown up to school with black eye or something.
Okay, well, she sleepwalks and she climbs counters and she fell off that bitch last night. I don't know what to tell you. You know what? CPS, take them.
Take the kid, it's broken.
You get them for a 3-day limit.
I got 2 others.
Yeah. You gonna take them for 3 days? Cool. I'm gonna get some sleep for 3 days. I'm gonna catch up on all the stuff that she taking. My patience, my sleep, my sanity. You know what? Take it for 3 days. When you bring it back to me, tell me if it's right. Tell me if it's right. Tell me you went and knocked the fuck out of that unconscious kid. When it's unconscious, it's a demon. What is it? Azazel?
That's what that one's name is.
Yeah. I don't want it. You can have it. Alright, anyway, ancestral witches. So most witches will honor their ancestors around Sabbaths like Samhain. In, I believe, the Ostara video, we talked about how Samhain and Ostara are kind of similar in the fact that they're liminal time frames, because these are when, like, the earth is going through, like, rebirth and death, kind of.
It's going through puberty.
Yeah, but
Changes in its body, and it doesn't understand.
But the veil between worlds is thin. So most witches will
like my mother's patience with me growing up.
Stop fucking sleepwalking! Stop talking in your sleep. I can deal with the sleep talk. The sleepwalking. I don't want to know how Aunt Betty is doing on the other side. Shut up!
What about Grandma Kenny?
Tell all of the dead people who are talking to you to fuck off. I will see them when I'm dead. I don't need to know anything right now.
Flashback to the time I was singing a Michael Jackson song in my sleep, and then that morning...
Was it Annie, are you okay?
No, it was Made in the Mirror, and it was really funny because that next morning I woke up and MTV was playing nothing but Michael Jackson songs, and I was like, Mom, what the heck is going on? And she was like, oh, Michael Jackson died. I'd also had a dream about Michael Jackson that night. Well, the whole Jackson 5. But we got into a car wreck, and in the sand pit, and everyone got out of the Jeep except for Michael. Then I found out he was dead, and I was like, we've gotten off topic again. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm feeding into it. It's fine. Okay, yes. So most witches, like I said, they honor their ancestors around Sabbaths or, specific time frames. But ancestral witches may feel called to honor their ancestors all year, or at least a lot more frequently.
Like in their sleep.
Anyway, this practice relies heavily on ancestral guidance, protection, and aid in magical workings. A good example would be hoodoo. Now, the source that I got this from, they worded...
Who does?
Hoodoo.
You do?
Hoodoo. I'm not doing this with you.
Reminds me of the Babe.
You're about to remind me of the Babe. Oh my god. Okay. Anyway, the source that I got this information from, they worded this a little weird. I didn't really like how they worded it. I'm going to read it anyway, and then I'm going to explain in better terms. So, they claimed that the difference between, like, hoodoo and ancestral magic is that hoodoo honors specifically enslaved ancestors from Africa, while ancestral magic honors all of your ancestors, no matter the culture. So, me. I got 1% African, okay? I could honor that 1% African ancestry, okay? Even though it's not my culture. That is what ancestral magic is. It's you looking at your entire family tree and honoring all of it. Now, what I found when I looked up hoodoo, because I did not like how they put this, it was very vague, and I felt like it just didn't do justice. So what I found when I looked up hoodoo is that hoodoo is ancestral magic. They do honor all of their ancestors, but because hoodoo was created by the enslaved peoples who were brought to other countries, and that's what they practiced. So a lot of that culture for hoodoo is steeped in the enslaved ancestors specifically. So there's a lot more of a focus on those specific ancestors. But there is nothing saying you can't honor all of your ancestry when practicing hoodoo.
But keep in mind, hoodoo is a more closed practice.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So some practices that you can do with ancestral magic is divination, so that you can talk to your ancestors. So through oracles, tarot, scrying.
Going to sleep if you're me.
Yeah. Apparently that. Making altars to your ancestors. Honoring ancestor-based holidays. And what I mean by that is when you've, built your family tree, when you've looked into your ancestry, find holidays that are specific to your ancestors' culture. Like, I think Desir was one, and I think that's in hoodoo.
I don't know.
Could be wrong on that one. There's Night is one that's specific to a culture and their beliefs, their religion. And then on top of that, like having your own Sabbaths and holidays where you already are very family and ancestor based on top of that. I got most of this information from otherworldlyoracle.com. That is what I've got.
Cool. And now we have the last one. Urban, which I don't have very much on it. Like, I literally have not even a full page. And literally the last line I have on the page is, we love a flexible girly.
Okay.
Yep. So, a modern practitioner who has adapted their practice to city life. That is literally what an urban witch is. They can source their energy from technology, crowds, etc. So you can look back on technology witches and stuff like that. I would best describe this as a subclass because it's quite literally just taking whatever you are practicing and urbanizing it to city life and making it just easier on yourself.
Yeah. I think a good facet of that would be like green witches. I know
Yep.
we talked about how there are tips that you can take to make that work in cities, like when you live in bigger cities.
Yes. Whatever your practice is, it can be mixed with urban to enhance your magic. I couldn't find much in regard to this because it is pretty much whatever you're practicing, just made for city folk.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I got. Except for that, we love a flexible girly.
Okay. I mean, yeah.
Because she is a flexible girly and
Yeah.
we love her.
I mean, fair. Yeah.
Thank you for watching, and as always, our brains are yours to pick.